Okay.
Are you ready?
Yep.
Okay.
Whenever you're ready.
I'm always. I was born ready. Welcome to Lisa Beats Your Meat. I'm Lisa Murray, and this is my co-host, Jimmy Murray.
Yes. Episode 98, I believe.
On tonight's episode, we are going to dive into the fascinating world of vaccines.
Yeah, I think this is a good one.
Okay.
Well, is the vaccine vegan? And should we be scared of it?
God, no. I hope not.
No, but the vegan community in general seems to be standing out as people.
We'll dive into this.
Yeah, resisting
we'll get
it.
to
So,
this.
anyways,
but before
good to see you all.
Before we get to that,
Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year. Cheers.
Cheers.
Are you drinking
Ding,
the Echo?
Yep.
Oh.
Some hardcore whiskey, which I just apologize up front. I drank
For
a little too much of it, probably for the last episode.
So that's what we call Jimmy when he's too drunk. We call him Slurry Murray.
It wasn't. Well, it developed throughout the show.
Yeah, you
this
got
whiskey
wasted.
was kind of hitting me hard that night. I think I hadn't eaten much.
No, we thought it was funny because I am awfully mean to you when you're drunk.
Yeah, I think you were awfully mean to me because it was your show and you were mad about that.
Because I don't like running it.
Yeah.
No. I like giving my commentary. I like the situation we're in. I like you delivering information and I comment on it. Because it's not like I don't have an intelligent comment to say. It's just it works much better if you're giving the info and I'm responding.
I agree. Because sometimes I think I have an intelligent comment and you're like, thanks for that commentary.
Yeah, I'm really mean. Like,
that's fine.
But
we almost didn't put that one out.
I almost put out like a disclaimer that was like, we here at Lisa Beats Your Meat don't endorse domestic verbal abuse.
Yeah, bullying.
Yeah, domestic bullying.
Or heavy intoxication.
No, we support that. Anyways.
We cool now.
Yeah, well, we weren't. We were okay. I mean, he recovered from his drunkenness.
I'm just saying I'm not drunk for tonight's show.
Oh, good. Well, I'm a little tipsy.
Okay.
I'm feeling it. I'm good. Not wasted. I'm also not drinking Echo Spirits whiskey. So if I'm trying to get lit, that's what I'd be drinking. You know?
Yeah.
I'm just drinking wine, just normal old red wine. But
I'll stick to the beer, but go ahead.
we don't, the holiday just ended and it was great. It was good. We did the whole thing. We stayed here. We didn't go see Jimmy's family. And then we went up to my brother's vacation home for New Year's Eve, and that was super fun. But I was thinking about it, at this point in your life, Christmas and New Year's always just a gray area. But it's all just more about your kids at this point. And I would have to say I think my kids were super satisfied and excited.
Absolutely,
so
yeah.
So therefore it was a good Christmas.
If you have children, it's about them. And
yeah.
Ours are just getting to the age where
everything's exciting.
Yeah, and spending time with cousins is exciting.
Oh, yeah.
And that was, I think, for most people that have cousins
yes,
as little
they
kids,
hang out.
It was a really cool holiday thing. So we got to do that.
I'm not friends with any of my cousins now. I'm friendly, but we're not close.
Yeah.
One of my cousins freaking got me in trouble because of this podcast, remember?
Yes.
She said I was cancer shaming someone. We're still not cool.
That was episode 2. I think literally that was episode 2.
Yeah. She did not think what I was saying was cool. And
Probably.
she told all my whole family. My whole family was like, well, we didn't listen, but she sounds like a bitch. And about
Speaking
me.
about Lisa, yeah.
And yeah, it was a huge rift.
Wouldn't recommend going back to that episode because we probably were being off the charts. But
I think my sentiment was in a good place. I probably was belligerent and not saying it kindly, but my sentiment was always the same. That my whole sentiment is I would like to prevent illnesses.
Well, that's what we're talking about tonight. Any
but it didn't
new recipes down there?
It did not come through to my family like that. My family was like, Lisa, you always popping off. Speaking of popping off, not to veer off subject.
Yeah, we don't need to talk shop tonight.
All right.
You can, but
okay. Listen, we're in the midst of trying to move into this home. And if anyone out there is looking for a home loan, do not go with Huntington National Bank.
It's a Midwest thing.
Please do not. They
Midwest of America. I saw
Huntington.
we just dropped in Ukraine. You gotta
The Huntington?
remember No, our podcast.
Oh. Well,
Just saying, you're speaking to the world right now.
Huntington's all over the world.
No, it's Midwest. It's like
Are
local.
you sure?
Positive.
It's not local.
It is.
All right. Well, regardless, the bank that we went to get our home loan for this new house has just been off the charts horrible. And I finally got a hold of a guy that has dropped the ball many a times. He hasn't even picked up the ball. He looked at the ball and like let it go. And I reamed him out. Like
It's pretty intense.
I straight up like hood rat reamed him out.
Yeah. There's a Karen and then there's
me.
Yeah, like picture Karen
with
I don't
like
know.
with like her hand on her. I'm not Karen. I am.
There's got to be a new name for you.
Yeah, I'm a little like I don't want to get derogatory,
Yeah.
but I am not like every time I think that I'm like some sweet girl, you know, like I'm a mom and I've tried to like simmer down and I'm trying to, you know, be professional. But like if you put me in a situation where I'm so pissed, I will go the fuck off.
Well,
And
yeah.
it happens. It happens every once in a while. And I shouldn't have said all those things to him, but I was super mad at him. He kept trying to stop, and he was like, well, every time I try to talk, you yell at me. And I was like, I want answers. Shut the fuck up, Will. I want answers. Don't you fucking talk to me. Like, I really was giving him mixed signals.
You didn't say that, but you
I
definitely...
said the F word a couple times.
You did?
Yeah.
Wow. You definitely kept calling him by his full name, like you were yelling at me.
I think
or
that's
your
like
child.
I think that's like a motherly thing, is like to like give out the whole name. Like they forgot who they are or something.
It was intense. But anyways,
But that just happened like an hour or two ago. So if I'm
happier times.
So if I'm coming off a little high strung tonight, that might be why. My cheeks were like pulsating with heat by the end of that conversation, and my ears. I don't know if like that's how I get when I get super angry. It's just like all the blood rushes to my head, and everyone in my body was like, "What's up? Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!" You know.
Let's go back to your hippie
Sorry.
little in the
I
kitchen
know.
cooking stuff for us.
In the kitchen.
What are some lovely things you've made lately?
You know, I feel like I've been on point recently.
I agree.
I like tonight's meal. You like laughed at it this morning.
I knew it would be good.
You were like really hungry, and you were like, "What are you making for dinner tonight?" And I was like, "I'm making cabbage soup." And you kind of just like,
I was like, I guess I'm gonna have some nachos for lunch then.
"That sounds so good, Lisa." But it was like cabbage rolls, which is made from like beef and rice and like a tomato mixture. But I just made it a soup, and it was fucking delicious. Rice, some like crumbles, what you used to call them, that you get at the grocery store. They're frozen, any brand, and then some cabbage, and I like a can of tomato, like diced tomatoes. I mean, I doctored it up with some spices, but that was the basic. It was a very cheap meal. I can tell you that
good.
because
I
I don't know
couldn't
if
stop
we
eating it.
mentioned we're trying to buy a house, so everything is on a bit of a budget.
It's that time of year.
So we're eating cabbage soup, but it was fucking delicious, wasn't it?
We got our stimmy. You could really spend some money now.
That's stimmy.
No, it was great. Trying to think of some other big things you've made lately, but
I don't know.
what about
that before
you didn't make it, but let's talk about that queso.
I didn't make that queso. Yeah.
I know. Kroger
brand. If you have a Kroger
vegan queso.
Kroger's brand is Simple Truth, and they make a queso. You're obsessed. You love
It's
it.
unbelievable.
So they make a French onion dip. That's the other thing that we eat with chips, like the up and down chips.
It's very good.
That's what my son calls the chips with ridges. They're
Ruffles,
up and down
ridges, yeah.
chips. So now that's what we call them. You know, that's funny. Like you just assume the things that your kids call things, and then that's what you call them from now on.
Probably forever.
Yeah, like that's bizarre. Anyways, Simple Truth from Kroger does they're definitely like coming around and definitely catering to this audience. Oh, Simple Truth's breakfast sausages? Those are my fave.
Those are good.
Those are my fave. And though that's the same brand that does the chicken patties that we like. Those chicken patties are delish. Simple Truth is doing it. You know what Simple Truth's not doing well? the cheese.
Cream cheese.
Oh, the cream cheese is nasty.
Yeah.
And the sour cream isn't really my favorite either.
No.
But the cheese, it's funny because the cheese that I made the kids grilled cheeses tonight for dinner.
It was amazing.
Well, that is Simple Truth.
Oh, that was good.
But have you had Simple Truth cheese not melted?
No.
Foul. Not good. It tastes like a Lego.
Good advice for the peeps out there.
But melted, it's good. Which is the same scenario that Daya had,
Yeah.
If they're good melted, it's not good raw.
Yeah, you weren't reaching in for a handful of shredded Daya.
No.
That's disgusting.
But, I think it's the sorry, not to go on a tangent. I think it's the fat to substance kind of ratio. Like if the fat needs to melt for it to be tasty,
I get that.
So I think that's why those cheeses are better melted.
Simple Truth. Well,
Simple Truth. They're doing it.
Where's my tofutti cream cheese?
Not even Whole Foods had it.
No.
But I bought some cream cheese. I bought that cheddar cream cheese you like so much.
Ooh, okay.
With it's like Viola.
Is that
cream
Simple Truth?
Cheese. No, I got that from Whole Foods.
I mean, who makes it?
It was like $10 a pop.
Wow.
It's by Viola. It's not.
Oh, okay.
It was like $4.
That's fine.
Yeah, it's so. But I bought 4 things of sour cream.
We like our fake dairy. We're very big fake dairy eaters.
We do.
Sorry, guys.
Well, let's be honest. We have kids, and to get them to eat peas, I need to put sour cream or ranch on it. To get them to eat carrots, I need ranch dip. To get them to eat, that's just simple mom math,
Yeah.
Like you got to put a little sugar on stuff to get it down. So
yeah, I mean, it works.
Guilty.
It works.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about it. Let's do it.
We ready to get going?
Corona. Hold on. I would like to take a prediction here.
Okay, let's hear it. Lisa knows nothing about what tonight's show is about.
That's true. But I have my own convictions on the vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
End of the
think
podcast.
we all do.
End of the podcast. Are we option 1 in a full blown fight? Option 2, watching a show on either ends of the bed, not touching.
Well, that's
normal.
That's happening
That's
no matter what.
or option 3, we come to the same conclusion.
Okay, what's your prediction?
Number 1.
Really? Okay. Well, let's let it play out.
You got to give a prediction.
3.
3? We're going to be in love?
Yep.
Making love?
Making love, in love.
2 nights in a row. That'd be really uncalled for. Let me tell you, the odds are not in your favor.
Whoa. No mathematician, but I agree.
Okay. Well, let's get a new one.
Okay, so the vaccine is a pretty controversial thing that is a fairly new topic that not a lot of people know about, including me. It's happened very quickly, so there's been a lot of quick judgment as to what to expect and what not to expect, and should we take it, should we be scared of it. There's a lot of news headlines about it. So yeah, there's a bunch of headlines about people not wanting this shot. Mm-hmm. So this is a long story. We'll get through the details of it, but to start off, there was an article written recently. We live in Ohio. This is a national article that approximately 60% of nursing home staff are declining this shot. Mm-hmm. Nurses across the country are declining this vaccine.
Wait, 60% of nursing home workers?
Yeah.
Not nursing home nurses, correct?
Nursing home staff in general, yeah.
Well, not to shit talk that, but
there's a difference there.
A lot of nursing home workers aren't registered nurses.
55% of
They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. No, I'm just kidding.
Maybe they do. Yeah. 55% of New York firefighters, so they will not get the coronavirus vaccine. LA Times reported Thursday that hospital and public officials in California have been forced to figure out how to best allocate doses after 50% of frontline workers in the county refused the vaccine. this goes on and on and on.
Those are stats that say that they actually denied it, not they are planning on denying it.
The firefighters were planning, but the other ones were actually denying it, which I find shocking. So I'm interested in this because also in Ohio, which you live in America, we've been in the news a lot for coronavirus stuff because we're kind of in the middle. But our governor said that after the frontline workers are done, the healthcare workers, it's teachers. And I'm a high school teacher, so I think we heard yesterday that by the end of February, they expect to give every teacher in Ohio the opportunity to take this.
Yeah.
So I'm up there, which is pretty exciting.
Yeah, you better fucking take it.
So yeah, do I want to take it? What's it going to be? So I was interested in this, but just really hadn't done the research. And then I saw an article on Plant-Based News, which is, I think, a British website, where they had a panel of doctors that were discussing the virus in terms of veganism. I thought, well, that would be good for the podcast.
Right.
And it's a video. Maybe some of you have seen it. If you haven't, feel free to watch it. It's 90 minutes long, which is very long. But I watched the whole thing today, and that's what I kind of want to talk about, the things that the doctors were talking about, because it went quickly from, is it vegan, to is it safe, essentially.
Okay.
And the only doctor I knew on it was Garth Davis. But they were all kind of Instagram famous doctors. But they were really good, and they had different perspectives, and those are what I want to talk about. So I just want to give credit to a lot of the things I'm going to talk about tonight to that video. That was like my springboard to try to do other research.
Okay.
But they broke it up into some sections, as will we. What's the first thing people are saying, including me, when it comes to the vaccine, who might be hesitant? That
it didn't go through the trials long enough?
Yeah, that it was quick. Yeah. So that was my hesitation. But again, like I said, I'm a very open-minded person.
Okay.
And I'm not gonna. I haven't outright refused to take it, right?
No.
But I've raised some questions.
Yeah, I feel like you can't. I think people can't describe themselves as open-minded.
Okay.
You know? That's like being like, I'm just like a really fun person.
What kind of minded am I?
I don't know, but that's for me to say about you, not for you to say about you.
We'll save that for the end. But I feel like I am.
Okay.
And I feel like some people think I'm not. So maybe that's why I say that.
You've been very you question it a lot.
Exactly.
Okay.
Question a lot of things.
Yeah.
And I think everyone should.
I feel like you did say you weren't gonna get it.
Yeah, I didn't. Did I like outright say I'm not?
Yeah, that didn't go over well.
I don't know. For a minute, I was like, I'm not gonna get it, but then I was thinking, about my job. I might not have a choice if I want to keep my job.
Oh. Okay.
And then it really changed my mind. I saw, I think I said it the other day, a meme that said, I don't care if there's an iPod Nano in this virus. If it means I can get drunk at Applebee's, I'm going to take it.
Yeah.
Like, that's a joke, but that's my mindset.
I have said it from the beginning that I will take the vaccine because I do drugs recreationally. Yeah. I can do one for the betterment of my society.
This isn't a drug, but I get what you're saying. You put questionable things in your body.
I put drugs in my body that came from the basement of some like WikiLeaks person in Sweden.
I hope not.
That's where my drugs came from. Questionable AF. Questionable AF vaccine over here, I'm okay with as well.
We don't do that.
But we do.
Anyways, long-term effects. That's in my back of my head, are there long-term effects? A typical anti-vaxxer, which I would say I'm not whatsoever.
Yeah.
I support vaccines, and I think they've saved civilization on many levels. But would say, are there long-term effects? That's the one thing we can't answer because this is not long-term. But in reality,
I heard that you start to speak Chinese after you take it.
It's really racist, Lisa.
Is it? It came from China.
I know.
Everything came from China. The vaccine came from China. The virus came from China.
Sort of. It didn't really, but we won't know. But this is not really it's not really a brand new vaccine. It's something that was developed and ready to go. Mm-hmm. And the technology was there, the science was there, but
they applied it to coronavirus,
which was the perfect application. It was a perfect student for this science that they had already developed.
From what I understand, that this type of vaccine was already in works to be applied to the flu, to that virus of flu, that morphing virus of flu.
Correct.
And that when coronavirus came about, they just, instead of applying it to the flu, they applied it to the coronavirus, and it worked swimmingly. So I guess that's why when it's like, oh, it was in trials for like a day, is that upsetting to you? To me, I think that the science behind like the backbone of the vaccine was already done.
Yeah.
And so it makes me feel more comfortable taking it.
Yeah, me too. And it should a lot of people. It's called like mRNA is what this coronavirus is. The Pfizer and the
Morona.
And mRNA is messenger RNA. So we can kind of get into what that is in a minute. But what are the long-term effects? We're not sure. People seem to fear in terms of vaccines. Like me personally, like shoot it in my arm, I'm going to feel fine tomorrow. But in the back of my head, it's like, am I going to get cancer in 40 years because of this or something like? I know that's not logical thinking, and it's not based on science. And I'm not worried about with other vaccines because I feel like they've gone through decades of trials and tests, and this one hasn't. But from learning more about exactly what this is, I'm relieved of that fear, I guess.
Okay.
Because it has been around for a while, and the technology is pretty clear.
Okay.
They just can't guarantee that. They just don't know. You can't say we know what the long-term effects will be.
Right.
It's like LASIK eye surgery. People are fine that have gotten it a long time ago. But it first happened, people were like, whoa.
This is
like,
crazy.
Are we all going to be blind in 10 years?
That's my New Year's resolution.
So, yeah.
To just go to the eye doctor.
Just to go to the... You should.
Not.
But you should get LASIK.
Do you know that I woke up the other day and I was only seeing reds out of my left eye and blues out of my right eye?
Were you scared?
It lasted all morning. It was
like... You didn't tell anyone?
I think I told you.
You told me like one eye was blurry or something?
No, one eye was completely red. It was all the red tones, and then like the warm tones, and then on the other side it was all the cool tones. It was like two Instagram filters. Two
separate
different
ones?
Instagram filters on my eyes.
You should get those looked at.
I know, that was the deciding factor. I was like, this isn't normal.
You would like Stevie Wonder glasses someday, and I'm walking around
that's me.
My hot blonde wife.
100 who's blind. Why is she wearing sunglasses inside? She's just a big shot.
I'd get to dress you. That would be kind of cool.
No.
Put on whatever I want.
I think that's like where your head went first.
Yeah.
You know? I get to dress you. You're so gay.
Sorry.
Like deep down inside.
No, that was not gay. That was like a dirty thought.
Oh. Okay.
Not a fashion thought.
All right.
So anyways, we'll talk about like risk versus benefit and things like that. But when in terms of like a long-term effect, like any effects from vaccines and there have been some negative effects out there.
Okay.
From flu vaccines and such.
Yeah.
But most of the time so if you let's say you get a bad strain of the flu, the long-term effects from the flu are
the same as the shot?
So yeah, if you get a long-term effect from a shot, it's because you got a little bit of the flu in you.
Okay.
But it's very rare, and it's never going to be as bad as actually getting it.
Okay.
But the flu's a tough one to compare it to because
it changes.
Yeah, there's never been a 90% like this is going to work with the flu, and it changes every year, and it's really hard to compare this to the flu.
50% or something of the flu, isn't it? That was like 30%, something like crazy.
It's 50. It's got to be over 50 for the FDA to approve it. I found out.
Okay.
I read that actually in the 90s, in the 2000s, which is a long time ago, there was an AIDS vaccine that was 30 to 40% effective.
But they wouldn't
some
approve
countries
it.
are using it. Just the FDA won't approve it. They need 50%. We'll get to that though. But that's a really hard one because if you get the flu or you get corona without a vaccine, you most of the time recover from it. You get AIDS, Like there's no like. Oh. So for them to like find a vaccine for it, to somehow get it into your body and have your body fight it, but not enough to give you it, very, very difficult. So it's very hard to compare it to that, but it is something that apparently has been being asked by people. Like, if you can vaccine this and that, why can't you vaccine? Yeah. But you just that was the simple answer to that. Unrelated, but it came up in some of my.
That is crazy talk. What you just said.
It's weird to think about, but it is. You don't get rid of AIDS or HIV.
No.
Even if
you can keep it at bay, like HPV.
But like coronavirus,
I don't have HPV. I hope you know.
Oh, you found out?
My gynecologist did a test for me, without my knowledge.
Oh wow!
And she just I didn't even want to know because how like literally everyone is supposed to have that, and it came back on my chart and I was like scrolling down and it was like, you're negative for HPV, and I was like, I was like offended, but I was also and then like I immediately felt better than everyone else.
Oh yeah, I get it.
But I think it just means that I wasn't I wasn't as sexually active because I was just like. I was kind of like lame.
Okay, that's I like that.
like I didn't get around, but like out of like pity.
HPV just came from getting around. I didn't know that.
I think it did. It was a sexually transmitted thing, and HPV leads you to a higher chance of like cervical cancers.
Interesting.
So I don't have that.
It's good news.
Yeah. So
good for you. Congrats.
I wasn't screwing around, if you were wondering. But no worries if you have HPV, because literally everyone does. I'm honestly surprised I don't. So.
I have mouth herpes. We all do.
Who doesn't? Come on. All right, let's get back into it.
Okay, so what is the vaccine?
It's made out of.
This is the part that I wish that you had.
Babies.
I have some information on that too. I wish you had read about this, but Lisa's better at the science. But mRNA, so the messenger RNA. This is I'm going to do my best here in like 2 sentences.
Oh, I'm so excited.
So the spike protein, actually like what makes it coronavirus, I think, is
the crown.
Well, it looks like a crown, yeah, and those little spikes on it.
Yeah.
That's why Corona beer is called Corona. But the spike protein from the virus is taken from the virus.
Okay.
And then put into the vaccine in a sense, like a very tiny bit of it, like a fraction of it.
Just the spike?
Just the spike.
Not the nucleus?
No. And that's interesting because that's what people are afraid of.
Of the nucleus?
Well, getting into our nucleus, but eventually it's gonna go into all of the cells in your body and tell it to do something. That's so pretty weird. Crazy.
All of the cells of our body.
So that's where it's called the messenger RNA, because we have RNA. I don't know what that stands for, but it's going to send a message to our body. So it's going to come in. It's going to come into our cells.
All of the cells of our body.
Yeah.
That little vaccine hits up every cell in our body. Like the cells like in my toes knows that I got a corona vaccine.
I think so. I don't know the answer to that. I don't know the answer to that.
That's bonkers if it's true.
It gets injected into your muscle. It will transcribe into the muscle cell, become a protein that the coronavirus has essentially, and then your immune system will say, "Hey, that's
something different.
Something
Let's
new.
Talk about it.
We got to work on this. We're going to make this happen," and they're going to start building antibodies. So you're tricking your cells have a memory.
Right.
So if you get the coronavirus,
so your cells
when
are
you're
making
done with
antibodies.
It, your cells say, "Hey," your memory
that.
cells say, "Hey, that we already had this. We have to build a plan for the next time we're exposed to it."
So are your cells? They see that vaccine and they are fighting it like it's. Like it's a bad guy, right?
Yeah, like you've already had it,
right?
So
that's just bonkers to me.
It is bonkers.
That's how it works,
and I guess
it's insane. That's insane that like we do that. We inject ourselves with it.
Yeah.
It's such a basic, like idea. but it's also insanely detailed and above my head.
I just saw this
crazy.
randomly, and I don't know how true it is. I saw it in like a YouTube video, not from doctors. Some dude. I don't even know. Okay, so what was what's an old disease that we eradicated with a vaccine?
Polio.
Before polio.
Meningitis.
Maybe smallpox?
Smallpox.
Something that had killed millions of people.
Billion people.
And
no, we didn't have a billion people.
This guy is a farmer who noticed that his cows didn't get it. And then a scientist was saying that maybe it was smallpox. I'm just, this is off the top of my head. This is not research based, but this is who apparently discovered vaccines, that the cow wasn't getting what everyone was dying from in a pandemic, essentially. So he took some of that cow's pus and injected it into an 8-year-old. And then later they tested that 8-year-old, and he was showing that he's fighting off this.
He had antibodies.
Yeah. And that was the beginning of this like miraculous study. But throughout history, vaccines have been kind of questionable, been kind of weird. And to tie this back into veganism, a lot of vegans, like myself and you, we think that our body is our strongest defense against anything.
Right.
So the thought that we're going to use science and technology to fight off an illness when we think our body is going to do it alone is why this becomes such a vegan topic. But from my research today, and if you want to watch this video, but it's very technical, I'll just dumb it down for you.
Oh man, thank you so much.
Essentially, they put me at ease to the fact that this is an incredibly natural process. We're just tricking our body into a natural process. We're not putting drugs into our body. We're not putting weird stuff into our body. We're telling ourselves to do something that you would do you would do anyways.
Just doing
if I got the
natural
coronavirus.
processes.
Yeah. So if I got the coronavirus, which many Americans already have, your body's going to start doing something. This is just going to make your body start doing it. Yeah. What's more natural than that?
It's not like the vaccine does something. It's like the vaccine is just a trigger to make our bodies do something.
Exactly.
It's
a trick.
Sense.
It's tricking it naturally, though. And a lot of people thought that there's a lot, and this is like when you get into crazy talk with a lot of people, but I guess it could on like older vaccines, but that it could get into your DNA and change your DNA.
Yeah.
But to do that, you have to
that's how you learn Chinese, right?
Yeah, that's when you start to speak Chinese.
Right.
That's when start talking about, you said the word nucleus, like to
that's
get
the cell
like this gets nowhere near the main part of the cell.
So they just took the spikes of the coronavirus, the crown.
Yes.
And that's what they're injecting in us, not the nucleus. Well,
No, not the nucleus. It's whatever it's doing in our body. It's only affecting our memory cells, but not down to the nucleus. Okay. Now, I'm not going to talk too much about this because if you're a science person, you're probably pulling your hair out. Mm-hmm. But the point is that we're not altering our body. We're not changing our body.
I don't think
tricking our body.
That could do that.
There's shit you can put in your body that changes your brain. It changes your nerves.
Your DNA?
I don't know about your DNA, but I'm just saying there's shit people put in their body that I put in my body probably that really has a long-term effect on it. I'm just saying, I'm convinced that this doesn't.
You're drinking is going to have a change in your body.
This whiskey won't, but Scotch is weird.
Scotch
gross.
Scotch is disgusting. Sorry if anyone. I'm just not there yet.
Yeah. But anyway, so it's mRNA, messenger RNA. It's going to pretty much just boost your memory cells to remember something that didn't actually happen.
Okay. What's up with the babies?
Super cool. Okay. The babies, this is interesting.
'Cause I'm pro babies.
I love babies.
Like all babies, like conception babies.
Oh, wow.
No, I'm just kidding.
I'll go there. Well, hold on. Before we get there, going back to this, there's one doctor who was I really like this guy. He was really young. I don't know his name or any credit to him. But all these doctors are talking about, is it natural? Is it natural? Is it natural? And everyone's just like, yes. And then this one guy goes on. He's like, why are we talking about this? Like, this is so dumb. Who cares? Nothing is natural. He's like, we're all vegans here. He's like, you want natural? Don't wipe your ass with toilet paper.
Yeah.
Don't pump freaking heat into your house. Don't have air conditioning. He was like, clean water is unnatural. Washing your hands is unnatural. Like, the things that we do every day to protect our health and our longevity are not natural.
We've evolved. We've adapted.
Yeah. So
I always say adapt or die, but yeah.
It's true. It was a good point that, like, this is pretty natural in terms of
like where we are in a
longevity,
civilization.
yes, and just being human beings.
Right. We're not the crudes.
So, but the reason again this became
who are those people? They were in the space, the neutrons, you know.
Jetsons?
The Jetsons.
Okay.
We're not the crudes, but we're not the Jetsons.
It's funny you say the crudes. They're cavemen, and that's what Garth Davis was saying. He's like, yeah, if you want to be a caveman, go ahead, but we've come a long way since then. Like,
yeah.
Like, if you want to stick to natural, I mean, so again, this becomes a vegan topic because there's a lot of, if you listen to the show at this point, episode 98, you're probably not like a super crunchy vegan. Maybe more realistic. Maybe you are. But this comes up because a lot of the super crunchy vegans are like, ooh, I don't want to put this in my body.
But
that's not why I didn't. I didn't want to because I'm like a conspiracy theorist.
But are they also anti-vaxxers?
You're going to find a lot more anti-vaxxers in the vegan community than elsewhere, I think.
But here's where I think it's weird, is that a lot of vegans are socially, like, conscious. And there's definitely, like, a wave of vegans that are like, wear your masks. Do your social distancing.
Yeah.
And those would be the first people to say, get the vaccine. But it's like a weird like Venn diagram where I feel like a lot of those vegans who are screaming at people to like follow those rules are you also gonna like I don't know how they feel about the vaccine.
Well, I don't want to jump to my conclusion yet, but I'm learning that my lack of information created an understanding that was incorrect.
Well, look at you. We're snuggling tonight. Okay.
Hold your horses. But yeah. In terms of ingredients, though, there was some other concerns there. There's nothing really in there that's that questionable. So, all right, next topic.
The babies.
This falls in that sort of. Was it rushed? That was also my biggest concern. This happened way too fast.
Yeah, but we had a pandemic.
Way faster than ever.
What do you want us to do? Wait 5 years?
Well, that's what people are scared of. Did this happen so fast that they skipped safety protocols? But like we said earlier, it's been worked on for a long time. It's not new technology. One of the big things that comes up, which I don't know much about, but it was an easy answer to it, is Bell's palsy.
Okay.
Do you know what that is?
Yeah. It's like a stroke kind of thing, and then you get like your face is frozen.
Yes. So in these studies,
it's like I have a family member who had it.
I've seen recent things about the vaccine being like you could get Bell's palsy.
Yeah, it's kind of scary.
But very quickly debunked was that 1 in 10,000 people get it in real life. Like outside of any trial,
and then 1 in 10,000 get it in the afterlife
during the trials.
Oh well, so
it really could have nothing to do with it,
right?
And it's also very treatable now, I guess. And,
is it
curable? Yes.
Oh, good for them.
It's a very simple treatable thing now, and so it's like that's just a fear mongering thing that is happening out there.
Do you know that my uncle got a bunch of vaccines to be in the service, and he went in a coma?
Really?
So, yeah.
Yikes.
Do you know that? For like days.
Well, there's an interesting.
Not to freak anyone out, but
was it related?
But I personally know someone.
All at once? Wow. Well, this is the thing that like.
Hold on. The vaccines to be in the service it's like a regiment of like a ton of pretty serious vaccines.
That was a long time ago too.
It was a long time ago.
I didn't do any research on the history of vaccines, but the little research that I did do is that
the technology has been vastly updated.
What we're doing right now is different than what we used to do.
Oh,
like there was times where you put the actual thing into your body.
Yeah.
You know, not just tricking your body, but actually giving you it on a small level.
Dose, yeah.
So I can imagine if you had much of them built up, maybe you hadn't had them as a kid. I don't know, but
right.
The thing that really changed my mind a little bit, I'm which I think a lot of us vegans should be, very skeptical and frightened of like big pharmaceutical companies.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you guys, this is all bullshit.
You all just did this to make some damn money.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't.
Are you not rich enough?
I'm not saying they made the virus or anything, but the vaccine happening this quickly and then pouring out an American people all of a sudden within less than a year from the blah, 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 blah. But then it was like one sentence that made me like rethink that. And someone was like, Pfizer and Moderna, like imagine, let's forget for a second how much money they're going to make off this. Mm-hmm. Imagine if there was a complication, how devastating it would be to these billion-dollar corporations. Like they're not just going to dump half a billion, vaccines out there into the world.
Let me ask you this.
With the possibility of there being a serious issue. They would be done. They would be done.
Let me ask you this.
Yes.
The Moderna or Maduro and the Pfizer vaccine, are they exactly the same?
No, but they are very similar. They're doing the same thing. There's other vaccines coming out that are a little bit different.
Okay.
But I have read that.
Which one's better? Which one should we
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering. Like, one of them I heard, I didn't read, so I just heard in conversation, so I can't verify it. One of them has a different temperature it has to be stored at. So it's easier to distribute. Like the difficulty with the distribution is that
it has to be cold.
One has to be like freezer cold. The other one has to be sub-zero. Shut up. Did you hear there's a Northeastern Ohio dry ice company? It went from like a strip mall to blown off the frickin' charts, like filling trucks of dry ice.
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah. So anyways, going back to your uncle, there is apparently, and this is another fear that people had, is that you can't technically sue these companies over complications with a vaccine.
Why?
Now, I didn't know this, but if I had heard just that part, I'd be like, well, that's fucked up.
Peace out.
I am not getting this.
Right.
But Garth Davis actually explained this, and he explained it very well. Apparently,
what did that hunky doctor say?
He always looks angry. He's like, okay, whatever. He's hunky.
He is.
He's like a little thick.
He's a little thick.
He's like 1950s hunky, where you're like fat but also muscular at the same time.
I think it just is like a fat face. He could be really ripped. It's just, it doesn't matter. You know those people?
Yeah.
It's just like, it doesn't matter how like in shape they are. They just have like a double chin.
I know a few people like that.
It's so sad. It would drive me crazy.
He just seems angry all the time. But I like him. I like his rants, even though they're a little over the top sometimes.
I think it's funny when he always like gets so mad about people impersonating him on social media.
Yes, he did that on the video today.
Oh my God. Like, Garth, people are just doing it to make fun of you
at the end of this 90-minute video, the one lead doctor was like, everyone just give out your information if you want. And it'd be like my Twitters, my website, my social media. And he was like, my Instagram. He's like, it's Dr. Garth Davis, not Dr. Garth Darvis or...
Like, my cousin just had someone make a fake Instagram. Like, it just happens.
Yeah, I'm not sure why.
Get over it.
One thing he talked about, what I thought was fascinating, I didn't know about, is that, so going back in history, there were some major lawsuits against these companies. There was something that was built in to protect them from major lawsuits.
Okay.
Because they didn't want to deter these companies from...
medical technology moving forward.
Exactly.
Right.
But what they did build in, which people don't know about, I didn't know about, which I'm trusting Garth here, I did not check his facts here, is that there's a fund set aside. So when you buy a vaccine, or anyone buys a vaccine, or anyone goes to the doctors to get a vaccine, there's a tiny little percentage of whatever that costs whoever that goes into this fund. And there's this giant fund out there.
Like free parking.
Yeah.
From Monopoly.
I think it more of like, cell phones, like people who have free cell phones.
Yeah.
It's because there's like a 2-cent charge in every cell phone bill that goes towards a fund.
Is that really?
What they used to call Obama phones. Yeah.
That is.
They weren't Obama phones. They're just, there's a fee in every single cell phone bill.
To pay for people who can't afford their cell phone bill?
Yeah. So it is a government requirement, but it's not a government entitlement because it's actually all happening in the private sector.
You can hear more about my thoughts on that in our other podcast, which will be coming out in a couple weeks.
Yeah, we haven't started the new one.
No, I'm just kidding.
But anyway, so there's this fund for virus protection, essentially. If you do have a complication that is worthy enough that you need some kind of compensation or you would be willing to sue over it, you can go, there's a board that you can go sit in front of and say,
here's what's wrong.
Here's what's wrong. And it actually pays out.
Here's what's wrong. My right arm doesn't work anymore.
Yes, and it pays out.
Like,
now, that also makes me sound scared that they have this, but apparently throughout history, there has been millions and millions paid out to this, but a lot of it has been more like no major complication over a large body of people. It's been more like random things that may or may not be related to whatever the problem is, but the fund's there.
You also have to consider, like, humanity in a general is a horrible. If there is any way to screw somebody out of money, they will.
Yeah, for sure.
So I don't. Sure. I'm not surprised by that. So
this prevents these companies from being so scared of major lawsuits.
Yeah,
they can't exactly be proven.
Not that I'm down on these. Not that I'm like with those companies, but I just understand that thought.
Yeah, you do need them, I guess. And again, this is all new to me. This is all a new revelation to me. I was convinced today from this video.
Okay, great. Can you talk to me about the babies?
Yes, here we are. So Lisa and I are Catholic, which has nothing to do with this, but the Pope came out a few weeks ago and was like, it's okay to get this vaccine.
I'm Byzantine. You're more Roman.
It's like, what?
Just kidding.
The Pope was like, I'm like, what's the Pope have to do this? And then there was some fear of like fetuses, aborted fetuses being involved in this. And I didn't read about this, but it reminded me of it. You ever read the book, what was it called? Henrietta Lacks book? I don't know what it's called.
No.
There was like a black woman back in the day who they took her cells and they learned how to regenerate her cells over and over and over and over.
Wait, no, that's ringing a bell.
We still use her cells in like all research all across this country.
Yeah.
And the family didn't know about it apparently.
Yes.
But it was like these cells were special and it was like the first time.
That sounds like a really good movie.
I'm surprised it might be one, but
that sounds
really good book. Really good book too. So anyways, unrelated to that, apparently, and I was very confused by this, the Pope was just like, it's okay, go to the cause, you know. Right. He didn't explain it.
Bro, this Pope is he's a little crazy.
A little loosey-goosey out there.
He liked someone's Instagram photo. Did you see that?
Twice. I don't know if they haven't spoke out about it.
He liked like a thoughts Instagram photo. It
happened again last week.
That's that. You know what?
Maybe he's not running the gram. Maybe someone else.
Maybe
with the bishops or something. Cardinals.
No one in
altar boys.
No one in that whole production should be liking that girl's picture. She was like very scantily cladly dressed.
Those are real. One time I still have it like screen capped.
That the Pope followed you?
The Pope followed me on Twitter.
You were so excited.
I was so excited. But
you took a screenshot.
It wasn't the real Pope.
You're like, the Pope just followed me, Lisa. And I was like...
Then I looked at his account and it had like, he was following like 3 people.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I know.
But the Pope... All right, so the Pope said it's cool to get it.
Yeah, so that led me to believe into the fetal thing. So cells that they study viruses on do have a nature in aborted fetuses. But
they
do, but specifically literally 2.
Oh, 2 aborted?
In the 60s, there were literally 2 fetuses that were aborted that they have been using ever since.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So same kind of thing with the Henrietta Lacks. They can take these cells, take them and regenerate them, and they just regenerate. And then the cells grow the virus, and they take it off that cell, and it goes into a new cell.
Right.
Where it turns into
2
a harvest.
2 aborted fetuses in the 60s.
And they're still using those.
That's fucking bonkers.
Yeah, so that's terrible. I mean, I don't care how you feel about abortion on the show, but we have our opinions. I don't like it.
Yeah, but that's crazy.
But yeah, so it's not that bad, I guess is what I'm saying.
It's not like, give me out your aborted babies. Yeah, I need them. Hurry, more.
Oh, we have a vaccine. We have a demand for fetuses now.
More
yeah.
aborted fetuses. Stat.
And I think whether you're Catholic or not, or whether if you're anti-abortion or anti-animal cruelty and animal testing, which we'll get to, I think the goal is not to produce any demand for that.
Right. And
this does not produce any demand for a fetus.
That's okay.
So,
well, that is good to know.
And I think it's why the Pope okayed it. So, good question. Glad I was ready for it.
You were. You knocked that one out of the park.
Thanks, Lisa.
Good job.
But anyways.
Snuggling?
Still, we'll get there. No, I don't have any big curveballs here. But the other thing that was very interesting is to finalize how fast this happened. Mm-hmm. The coronavirus is prevalent and it's out there, and it hasn't really affected you or me that much.
No.
But there's communities that have been ravaged by it and families. Mm-hmm. Another reason this test happened so fast successfully is because there was a pretty large body of people who had it.
Yeah.
So I guess if you have a more sporadic thing, it's harder to test it quickly.
Okay.
But they were able to bring in 30, 40, 50,000 in some of these tests quickly.
Oh, like immediately.
Quickly, yeah. And then be able to show if the vaccinated people
got
it, yeah, or what the reactions were to being exposed to it. So
yeah, we're in different times. Like
we are.
We are in a weird scenario.
And then also, I don't want to bring up the big dog's name, Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. I just brought it up. You're not going to find it brought up anywhere, but I feel like I have to say it
because he rushed it through himself.
No, but
he took the vials from like
the
lab, and he was like,
"Get him
in
the helicopter!
I just got him.
Let's go.
Get the dry ice."
There was a couple articles that gave him a little bit of credit. Operation Warp Speed is what he calls it. Mm-hmm. Whether you like Donald Trump or not, and I've liked him long before his presidency because I've always been into real estate since I was a little kid. Uh-huh. And
have you? Were you like a little kid into real estate?
Never done it, but I read The Art of the Deal when I was like in 10th grade for fun.
It's super weird of you.
It is.
Why aren't you a millionaire? Why aren't we bazillionaires?
Because I was a pussy. If I started, is that a bad word? Sorry.
No, I'm not offended by pussy at all.
When I was reading his books,
I'm more offended that we're not billionaires.
Yeah, in college when I was 20.
Yeah,
we should. 39.
Where's Operation Warp Speed in here?
Well, if I was 20, now I'm 39, I would have been a millionaire. So I'm 39. So give me 59.
50? Where's 40? Where's 49? Where did we skip to sometime?
We'll be like millionaires by 49. Okay,
I'm gonna need Operation Warp Speed.
I think the podcast is really gonna pick up.
Probably.
Tomorrow we'll have like our own products and stuff.
Definitely. This episode was brought to you by Squarespace. No, I'm just kidding.
It's never been brought to us to you guys by anyone.
we get offers.
So we
don't follow through with them.
We're lazy. We get offers all the time for advertisers.
You know what I think it is? I think
you're welcome, guys.
It is. It's gross to do that. You know, like that's why I'm not internet famous. The only reason why I'm not internet famous, no, is because you have to like keep up with it, and you have to like whore yourself out. You have to say so stupid. Stupid is like my worst word currently. You have to say stupid stuff online to appease, or like appeal to people. And I just can't do that. I can't like
be fake.
Hey guys, how was your Christmas? Hey, tell me your favorite Christmas holiday tradition. Go. I can't do that kind of shit. It's way too.
Yeah.
It's just gross.
There's been a couple advertisers that have approached us that I've been like, oh, okay, well, send me your shit.
Yeah.
And they just didn't.
Yeah. I'm not into it.
It's all gotten real. Like, if you want us to, talk about your vitamin or something, send me your vitamin. I'll try it. If I like it, we'll talk about it.
Right.
We can work something out, but it's not going to be, we're not going to do a read.
No.
I'm just we would organically talk about something. We do.
Way more into being authentic. And that's why my Instagram, I swear, like I put out, food that I like and stuff, but I can't do that. Like, I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to play the game. I've never played the game. In every sector of my life, in every profession of my life, I've never played the game. I've never done it correctly, and it has bitten me in the ass many a times, but I just can't do it.
If we get an email tomorrow and someone's like, well, we want to advertise on your show. We need you to pretend that you love this product. And
for X amount of dollars.
Yeah, it's like $14.
I'd be like, ooh, I'll bend my morals. We'll like, I'll do it.
Hey, have you guys ever heard?
Have you guys tried this new battery? It's awesome.
Super. Anyways, forget Trump, but no, don't forget him. Operation Warp Speed, regardless of what Trump's claiming, America cut through a ton of bullshit. And that's what I've always known him as a cut through red tape kind of guy. So I'm gonna give him a little credit here, but let's say he doesn't get any credit. Regardless, we as a nation cut through a ton of bullshit. And this is gonna lead me into animal testing.
Oh, get to it.
Which is a little bit difficult, but
maybe not so necessary, huh?
A tremendous amount of red tape and regulation and roadblocks were removed. Paperwork, how to get people into trials. All these little steps that take months and months at a time for every step of the process were all eliminated in Operation Warp Speed. And personally, I'm going to give credit to Donald Trump for that.
You said that.
And the FDA is who has to, agree to all this to pass. And like I said, they have a 50% threshold. These companies are claiming a 90 to 95% threshold. This is where we get into our final topic, which I think is pretty important to the vegan conversation. Animal testing. So FDA will not allow any vaccine without animal testing. Okay. There was animal testing on this vaccine. But traditionally, there's a process. You go animal testing, and when all that gets approved, you go into human testing, and then you need people to agree. You need placebos. You need all these different levels and all these different regions, blah, blah, blah. And that's why it takes 8 years, 10 years, 15 years. We decided, the FDA said, we're not going to waive animal testing. You have to have it. Okay. But we're going to allow you to start human testing while we're doing animal testing. Okay. Which minimized animal testing.
Nice.
Didn't eliminate it. But while we were testing on animals, we were testing on humans. And then after
were we shooting it into their eyes and like rubbing it into like their eyeballs and like
it's not great what we do to animals.
No, it's very, very awful. That's what I understood. Like, I'm gonna test this shampoo on this animal. Are you gonna wash their hair? Or are you gonna rub it into their eyeballs until their eyeballs bleed?
See if no tears works.
Who's rubbing shampoo into their eyeballs until they bleed?
Well,
let's put it in your butt. Like, let's put it in a rabbit's butthole or something. Like, they do all kind of fucking weird ass shit with it.
Like, we're gonna
we're gonna do that.
Well, that was one of the big differences here. And
is a rabbit's butthole the same as my butthole?
It might be. I don't know.
I
don't know. I know yours. I don't know rabbits.
Retarded.
Wait. Oh. You sick or something?
That really came out of left field. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that.
I didn't plan on editing this podcast.
Jeez Louise. It's because you said it at dinner, and I was like, you can't use that word anymore. And you were like, I didn't. You said something, and I was like, what if our kids say it? And you were like, it's fine. And I was like, no, it's not fine.
I was talking about fire retardant. Which is a word,
well, that's what I just said. Oh, God, now this is just we're in a hole. Okay, sorry, move on.
It's easier to find it when I have to cut it out.
Sorry.
You ever heard of squalene or squalene?
No.
It comes from sharks.
Oh, okay.
Is
it their jizz?
Sort of. No, it's not their jizz, but it's like some kind of deposit. I don't know. But anyways, it's not in these.
Okay.
But some of the smaller companies who are trying to develop vaccines are using that.
Okay.
So those are not vegan.
Okay.
But Pfizer and Moderna are 100% vegan across the board.
Really? Well, besides those babies.
What's in it?
What would that? I don't know.
That's not an ingredient. The actual ingredients in the thing that you're getting includes things like what was the one thing? Actually,
it's like cells.
There's there's some ingredients in there. I had a list of them, but I think it's gone. But anyways, it's all vegan. And one question came up is that cholesterol shows up in the ingredients.
Really?
Someone's like, wait, cholesterol's not vegan. But apparently there's a way of getting...
Well, there's a breakdown of cholesterol.
There's a plant cholesterol.
Yeah, that
can be pulled. That's what's in this.
Yeah, if you look at like our like fats and stuff, like our butter, there's like cholesterol, but like it's like a specific type.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's what's in this. So Pfizer has done a better job documenting their animal testing.
Okay.
But Moderna is claiming that theirs was very similar. And this one doctor totaled up every single thing.
Okay.
And most of it was mice. He came up with an actual number. Most of it was mice, and then it goes in all the way up into like chimps and stuff. But his total was about 106 total animals.
Okay.
For each vaccine.
Okay.
Yeah, I see your face. Lisa has a very disgusting
I don't like it, but
face.
that's not like giving me nightmares, I guess. I don't know. It's such a weird like, do you kill this one person to save 100?
That's the discussion we're about to have. That's the discussion, which is a very hard one for a vegan. Can you say like, I am not going to support this product because 100 animals were tested on when it could save? And this guy, while this guy was trying to make his point, he pulled up, he did all this math, like so many charts. It was just like, come on, man. Mm-hmm. Come on. He did all this stuff, broke it down, all these numbers. And again, if you want to see this, it's on Plant-Based News. It's like the biggest video on there. It was pretty interesting. When he got to his conclusion, I was like, come on, dude, let's get to it. But he was selling his point. He finalized it with a football stadium. Mm-hmm. It had 75,000 people in it. And based on all of his math and on all of the statistics of this vaccine and death rate and blah, 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 he equated it to one animal equals about 70,000 deaths. So he was saying...
70,000 vaccines? 70,000 deaths.
Saving 70,000 human lives.
Oh, okay.
For testing one animal.
Yeah.
If you do all the math.
Right.
But going back to you talking about the shampoo in the eyes and stuff, they do fucked up shit to animals.
They do.
We're not going to support companies that test on animals, because if you support companies that test on animals, you are going back to the fetus thing. You are creating a demand for that product.
I think that's a really good point to make, because in 2021, my goal, I have a lot of like vegan goals, but it comes down to that phrase, creating a demand. We need to try to stop creating a demand for that.
I think it's a good strategy.
You know, like we can't stop these things, but we can stop creating a demand for it.
Yeah, like you buy a shirt from like the Gap at the thrift store, you are not creating a demand for that clothing.
Right. Yeah. You
but if you
need
go
to think
buy
as a
it
consumer,
from like a shitty store.
What are you creating a demand for?
It's interesting. Yeah. So I mean that was the point that these doctors were making, that these animals were tested on. Mm-hmm. Nothing's going to change that.
Right.
But for the rest of eternity, this vaccine, as long as it works, we'll never have to go back and test humans.
No, totally get that. And yeah, like that's wrong that those animals were tested on.
They probably could have done it without it.
It is what it is.
It's
could they
FDA
have?
rules.
FDA rules, yeah.
I mean, you have to change FDA rules, but right now you couldn't do that.
I think there needs to be a larger, I think the technology needs to be expanded for non-animal testing. And it's possible. They do have like dummy artificial animals or dummy artificial kind of situations where they can test whatever products they have and not use an animal, but they're not there yet. But they will be there. And I'm hopeful they will be there.
This guy was saying like it's almost like the reverse. If you don't get this vaccine, if you're too stuffy and hippy dippy about it and you're like, oh, they used animals, like if enough people refuse this, which they seem to be so far, you might almost create a demand for more technology and more research.
Right.
Like you might create have them going back and testing more shit.
That's
whereas if it does work. So again,
I'm getting the vaccine. I'm getting the vaccine for so many reasons, but I think that the biggest is that I need to walk into a bar, a restaurant, a concert, a sporting event. I need to do that. I need to go on a trip. I need to do those things that we forgot. Like 2020 was very like introspective, and like I saw what mattered to me the most. Okay, what matters to me the most at the top of the hierarchy is hanging out with my friends and my family. And that's number one. And so I withheld a lot of things to do that. I withheld going to concerts and bars and sporting events because they weren't open. But I withheld all of that to hang out with my family. And I did it rightfully so, you know, like obviously. But given the option of getting this vaccine and then doing all that other stuff, like I'm not wrong for wanting to go do all this other stuff.
Not at all.
You know, like my priorities were shown, and it showed me I care about these people the most. Got it. But it doesn't mean I don't care about this other stuff. Yeah. And if a vaccine allows me to do this other stuff, like I'm totally gonna fucking do it.
And it needs to. It needs to. I mean, and my hesitation, which is gone now. I have no hesitation at this point.
Snuggle buddy.
My hesitation was political.
Right.
Which I think has been the biggest disservice to this whole pandemic.
Oh, yeah. Politicizing of it. For sure.
Everything being politicized is caused so much misinformation.
It's 100%. It's 100% misinformation.
Yeah. This could have been a way better pandemic if it probably hit not during an election season.
Yeah.
Not during an election season that was so
disgusting
contentious.
that it was just used.
It's still being used.
This virus was used to sway someone's mind one way or another.
And how to vote.
That's disgusting.
It's insane. And the other thing I will say, like, so I mean, I'm not gonna just go rah virus on this. I'm not gonna say anyone shouldn't get it, but I'm just going to justify my hesitation. And one personal beef that I have, which drives me nuts, and I just get annoyed by, is having doctors and nurses come on the TV or the Instagram or Snapchat and just say, like, you should get this because we know.
Oh.
And you should just do it.
Oh.
That drives me nuts.
I don't think I've seen that commercial.
That turned me off. No, all these, like, Instagrams out there, and, like, there's tons of commercials
Jimmy,
out there.
Can't. This is my beef with you. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Listen. Anything that you hear on the radio or on the TV or on social media is bias. And I just, like, unless someone is speaking to my face, unless I can pick up this person's vibes, and I can see their qualifications, and I can know their backstory, I don't trust anything. So all these commercials of nurses or doctors or whoever telling you shit, that's all biased source. You don't need to get upset about it. You don't need to think about it. It goes one ear and out the other because it's saying, all like, marketing. It's all
outside of marketing, even these videos I was watching, people were these doctors saying, well, if people had to see what we see every day, they would just understand and do it. And my thing is, like, you're not going to convince me or anyone else.
Just give me facts.
Yeah. Actually convince me. What if I, like, got in a political argument and said, like, hey, listen, I'm a social studies teacher.
I know.
You're just an idiot.
Yeah.
Just trust. You should vote for this guy because I'm a social studies teacher and you're just a nurse. You're just a nurse. But I study the Constitution and teach it to kids every day. Yeah. Just take my word for it and vote for this person. That's how I feel like I've been talked to by nurses and doctors. It's like, oh, I'm the expert. Yeah. I see this every day. It's so sad. Just go get it. But I finally like watched and read stuff where people actually explained it to me. Like, I'm not an idiot.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. I actually, that makes sense to me. Yeah. You talk to me like a human.
I know. Jimmy,
I'm not stupid. I understand science and technology enough to. I don't know.
I feel bad for you because you still are in a state of mind where you look at certain things and you internalize it. I don't think it's like I don't think you're jaded enough to like
I trust no
weird.
one.
Yeah, no, but I think you do trust people, and I think that's why that's upsetting to you, because you do watch the TV, and some nurse comes on the TV and gives you, like her script that was planted by the, a certain agenda that people wanted to get across, and that enrages you. Whereas I see that, and I'm just like, it is bullshit. All it is bullshit. I don't listen to anything, and they might be nice. It might be a nice commercial. I don't know, but anything I see on the TV. Anything I see on any media, social media, not social media, anything, I just don't believe.
Yeah, well, I don't either. But that's kind of the point I'm making. It's
I know, but it's sad.
Like I would believe you, like I don't know, and that's
literally
another problem.
I believe the guy on a soapbox on the corner of our street.
Yeah.
Before I believe anyone
Well, he'll try
else.
to convince you. We're at the point where people aren't trying to convince us of things anymore. They're just being like, I know better than you, do this.
Yeah.
That's not going to work.
You can't expect me to trust someone on TV. Yeah. You cannot expect me to trust. I don't know
I'm
you.
TV. I'm talking about friends and family and people I come across. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Oh, I trust
I
them.
feel, my point here is that I feel like doctors and nurses, if I know there's tons of you out there.
Why wouldn't we believe them? They know the field.
Are you
just saying the specific? Hold on. Are you saying
be convinced?
Are you saying the specific people that you've dealt with that you're upset that they didn't give you facts and figures?
No, I'm saying in general, the medical community, in my opinion, whether it's on TV, the radio, or just coworkers or family members, people I've come across, I feel like there's been a lot of, hey, we're on the front lines, we're seeing terrible things, which I'm sure they are, which is awful. Just do this. We know that you need to do this.
Okay. You know what
I think if you want to win people over, I was won over today because I listened to doctors actually explain what this vaccine is, what the benefits are, how it's going to work, why you shouldn't be scared. Okay. And they didn't say, just do this, I'm a doctor.
Right. Jimmy, I'm sorry that you listen. I'm sorry you didn't get the facts and the figures and the background that you needed to change your mind on the vaccine. But I think, and I'm sure this is going to not go over well, but I think that a lot of medical workers that you're specifically talking about, they maybe it's like I'm so over it that I don't even want to explain it. I'm so tired of the situation. I don't even want to go into it. Like I'm just gonna like I don't have the time to explain what's in my explain what the vaccine is to you. So just do it. It's kind of like it's probably very exhausting to be in that career, and they don't really feel like it's their job to describe it to you.
I get that. I agree with that, and I don't blame them for that. I'm just saying I wish they would try harder to express themselves in a way where people could understand it. I'm just saying I've never heard a lawyer or someone just say like, I'm an expert, trust me. I think that's the worst thing you could say to somebody. Yeah. An intelligent person.
I don't think they're meaning.
I'm not an idiot.
I don't think they're meaning to say that. I'm
not a genius, but that's what I hear.
Okay.
When I pull up my Instagram and see like 15 nurses all like with their arms around each other with the masks on being like, yeah, she got the virus, or the vaccine. Like, I don't know. We're all in this together.
You just want more context.
I want more. And I don't want more. I know more about this than you do. Because you don't.
Right.
I'm sorry, you don't.
Maybe, okay.
You didn't develop the virus. You know more of the effects of the virus than I do. You see the effects of the virus. You don't know more of the science of the vaccine than I do. So let's be in this together. Let's talk about this together. Let's learn this together. Let's talk about it on the news. Let's tell people what this vaccine actually is that you never see that on the news. You see the left saying the right's scared of it, and you see the right saying the left's trying to brainwash us to get this and control us. No one's actually saying like this is not really unnatural. Mm-hmm. This is good for us. This is good for everyone. It wasn't developed weird. I'm just saying we just need, like you said, more context, and that's why I was so turned off.
But you're back on the vaccine train.
I will get it when I can.
Choo.
But guess my only hesitation
Choo-choo.
would be like I might have the opportunity to get it before my mother, who has terminal brain cancer, can get it.
Well, that's a New York problem, bro.
Yeah. So, I mean, I can't say no and it's going to help her or anyone else. Right. But I don't necessarily agree with...
It would help her, though, because you can go hang out with her.
That's true. I'm just saying, like, the order of events here might be a little bit difficult in distribution.
Let's talk about the complete chaos that is New York State.
Yeah. Well, and Columbus, Ohio. Like, I'm going to be able to get this and probably not see a student until September.
That's Columbus City.
Yeah. But yeah, if it's put in front of me, who am I to say no to it? I guess.
What's it called? Federalism, the levels of government.
State versus federal government. Yeah.
Federalism is more at play now than I feel like it ever has been.
Yeah, it's gonna be a challenging thing to see how it rolls out. It started to already, so.
Right.
I'm gonna get it.
Right.
And I'm not scared.
Oh, I'm so excited you came to that collision.
Just ain't getting that flu shot.
All right. Well, oh my God. Well, we're going to go watch Succession right now. If you haven't started watching that, it's on HBO. You should go watch it because it's amazing. Get through the first one. The second one gets better. And then, like, after the second or third one, it really, really picks up.
It's all in 3 or 4 now.
Big fan. I'm all in on it.
Top show.
Right. Okay. So go listen to that. Thanks for listening to us. Subscribe. Go through that gambit. And
you want us to sell anything, just let us know.
Let us know. And we'll sell it if it's good. If it's not, we won't.
$14 a minute.
All right. Thanks for listening.
Bye.